So some days, the very best thing you can do to take care of yourself and the people around you is to laugh. And that is exactly what we're going to do on the podcast today. We are celebrating 2 whole years of How the Wise One Grows and 100 episodes. And the ultimate way to celebrate, in my opinion, is with laughter. And you're going to get to laugh your asses off because you're going to hear my most embarrassing story and you're going to hear the most embarrassing stories of 2 of my favorite people. And one more thing, we now have a free intentional living community on Discord where you can come together with fellow listeners to reflect on the conversations we've had on the podcast. We not only talk about the podcast, but really all the things that support us in living with intention. There's also a link in the show notes to join this free community, and I would be honored to have you there. And the first 15 people to join will enter to win a coaching call with me. But before we get started, let's just take a moment to land here together with 3 deep breaths. So take a moment to notice where your body makes contact with the earth. And take a big breath in and a big breath out. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. So, get ready. It's time to start laughing. I am so excited. Today we are recording with 2 of my favorite people in the entire world. And this is our 100th episode. And
surprise!
It's also we're recording this on the anniversary of the very first How the Wise One Grows recording. So I just felt like the best way to celebrate, honestly I didn't actually know it was the 2-year anniversary. That was just like the universe being wonderful. But to celebrate 100 episodes, I was like, we need to just laugh and hang out with 2 of my favorite people. So today I have the one and only Kelly Eberle and Emma Hern. Yeah, rounds of applause. Luna's also joining in the show. And Luna. So you'll definitely hear Luna throughout today. But I thought that the best way to get to know these people was
who you don't know at all.
So sidebar here, you actually do know Emma Hern. She was in episodes 12 and 50 on the podcast, and they are both linked in the show notes. Is to share our most embarrassing stories. Yeah. I just feel like that should be the way that everyone meets each other, is by sharing their most embarrassing stories.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a fast icebreaker.
Right? I mean, like, if you can't know the realest shit about me, quite literally, like, what are we doing?
Here's the thing. I think this is just going to evolve into us telling bathroom stories, which is great when you're meeting people, because you're like, I was intimidated by that girl, but then I learned how she shit her pants.
It's it is. That's the thing that I'm kind of like, you know how they say when you're nervous to picture people in that, like, picture everyone in the audience in their underwear? Mm-hmm. I forget who, it might be my mom.
You prefer to see them shitting their pants?
No, my mom, I think it was my mom who first was like, just remember everyone gets diarrhea sometimes. Like, so it's not true. That, it's like even whoever you're intimidated by. Diarrhea. Get the runs. We should just start doing ads for like natural body disasters.
Natural body. Why don't we describe them that way?
I had a natural body disaster.
Natural body disaster today. But I feel like the best way to solve who goes first, as Emma suggested, is go to old-fashioned game of rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
How do we do it? 3 ways.
I think normally you can do it with 3 people, and then like
whoever's out first, I think, has to go first.
Whoever loses first. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
We all, for the audience, we all got scissors.
Ready?
Rock,
Okay, so now we go. So wait.
So Holly won that round.
Emma and I both lost.
Wait, I did scissors. Those fools did paper.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
2 rocks.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
2 papers.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
2 rocks. It's like they live together. Oh no! Emma, suck it. Emma
I kind of forgot
with
which
some
one
paper over rock.
wins, honestly. For a second, I got excited because I was like, rock is stronger than paper.
I don't think that one really makes sense. Like, paper can cover rock, but if you're outside and it rains, like...
I think rock like wins. Ultimately wins everything. Yeah. But rules are rules.
This actually works best for me because then I can get mine out of the way and then just sit back while you fools have to be nervous.
Oh, so that was some strategy.
Okay. This is the one that I like thought of. Also, I don't know if I've told you. Have I told you about my crew story?
I haven't heard it. Remember we talked about this idea and did you guys go behind my back?
No.
No, but she's known this this was an unbonding 10 years ago.
Emma's like the common link, so she knows the dirt on both of us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you know Holly's most embarrassing story?
Surely.
I have so many.
It's definitely got to do with poop.
Why are you going to spoil things?
Sorry. Why you gotta be like that?
Well, we'll get to that later.
All right. I'll kick things off light and easy. Mine is a piss story.
We got one of those too.
Who doesn't? I think I had a problem in middle school, high school,
college. Yesterday. It's happening. I'm peeing right now. Anyway. Okay, this is my embarrassing pee story, which I'm really hoping like now as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh my god, my old crew coach is gonna hear this episode somehow and know. But you know what? It is what it is. Sorry, Mr. Mahon. Okay. So when I was younger, I did crew, like rowing.
She's from Connecticut.
All right.
That's
You grew up on a golf course, bitch. We all have something. I'm from Connecticut. I rode crew. But there was one day we did summer crew that was like first thing in the morning. You had to be at the lake at like 7, I want to say. And you did not mess around with being late because the coach was intense. And I was late and I had to pee to the point where I had to pee already. It was already an emergency before I left the house. But I was like, I can't be late, so I'm not going to. So I'm going to pee when I get there. Nope. I got there. Everyone was already in the boat, ready to go. And the coach was like, get in the boat now. Like, you're late. So I was like, oh my God. So,
oh, no, Kelly.
So I didn't speak up. And I just was like, it's fine. I'm sure I can hold it.
For an hour-long practice.
Also, this is, okay, maybe one of you is going to have to explain the visuals of this. Because if you don't know about crew, I was the coxswain that day. Which means that
I don't know what that is.
Okay, I'm going to explain it to you and then you have to explain it visually for the podcast.
Okay,
listeners.
so Kelly is doing shapes for us. We'll fill you in.
So everyone, they're like,
this is where my yoga teaching comes
Yeah.
She's sitting crisscross applesauce.
Wait, I'm not starting it. There are 8 people rowing in the boat, and then the 9th person is the coxswain who faces all of them and tells them to row with a little
yelling at people.
Yes.
So
but
are you rowing?
No, and here's the thing. No.
How'd you get hooked up with that deal?
No. I want to be very clear because it's always assumed when people see my height, especially people are like,
what is it called? What?
Coxswain.
A coxswain.
And you have a little microphone so that everyone can hear you, which is called a cox box.
Nice.
And you go, row,
which
row,
is
or
so
whatever.
much here.
Yeah, there's so much to work with.
We're gonna unpack.
This is gonna be a lot of backstory before we even get to the pee.
She's just trying to tell us about rowing so she doesn't tell us about pee.
No. Okay, here's the deal. You'll get it in 1 second. Okay. So I'm very proud of the fact that I did row. Because I'm a strong bitch, but I'm a short bitch. But this particular day, I was late. So he was like, you're the coxswain, get in the boat now. So I got in the boat. The whole issue with this setup is that there are 8 people facing you. And then when you're in the coxswain, your legs are up basically like in stirrups facing
that was what I was going to say.
The first person who's like rowing towards you and away from you.
So everyone just has a visual
like straight into the crotch.
Of your crotch.
And meanwhile, I'm in this little,
and
I have to pee so bad. And I'm like, just get through it, Kelly. Just, you got this. But I'm like, okay, row. Row. Just like trying to like not think about it. also you're on a lake, and so you're just hearing like the swishing of like paddles this whole time. It was bad. We got out into the lake. I was like, this is just, it was the kind of I need to pee where I felt feverish because I had been holding it for so long, and I was like, this isn't happening.
Hate that.
It's over. So it just keeps getting worse. So I peed. I mean, you know.
So did you notify anyone that you were gonna pee?
Or did you have a moment where you were like, I'm just gonna let this happen?
I pictured it like shooting out of you like a waterfall into the people that you're yelling at. I'm strong.
Yeah, I was like, I want to know the physics of how you pee. She's really got it down.
A geyser?
Yeah.
I believe you.
No, I just peed like a normal woman.
But you're in stirrups.
I am, but my vag is still down. I wasn't like.
Well, I was picturing like.
Did you? My question was, were you like? I feel like in those moments, I have a moment of I've lost
It's
control.
happening. Yeah.
And we're just gonna let the body do what the body's gonna do.
Yeah.
It was
Or
such.
were you just like, oh no, it happened?
No.
Who's in charge here?
No, there was a full moment of complete defeat where I was like, it's over. The fight has been lost.
I know
My
that
high school
moment.
career.
I've
is
held
done.
on so long, and
How
I
old
can't
were you?
hold on anymore. This was probably the summer before my freshman year.
That's
so I would
a
say, like,
great time for that.
how old are you in 8th grade? 13?
Yeah, but right
13,
before
14.
freshman year. And this is with people you're going to high school with.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And this is with, I specifically remember the girl in front of me was like a badass 1 year older than me.
Nice,
So she was already in high school. So I was like,
I'd like to do some investigative journalism. Reach out to the people on the
Yeah.
boat.
How do they know? Tell us.
oh, okay, it gets so much worse. This is what I'm like, all of this is
Good.
build up.
But
I've
wait, there's
peed
more.
and there's more. Yeah. So basically at this point, I have fully lost it. I'm like,
It's in the boat.
admit defeat, you peed.
In
You're
the
peeing
boat.
right now. And I'm this close to the next girl who's just like rowing, looking at me as I'm like, row. Like just like pissing my pants, my seat. So then, oh my gosh. So then I panic after it's happened and I'm like, well, I've already peed.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally I just start to splash water into the boat.
For
Holly
sure.
says, as you do.
Yeah.
You got it. I was like, I'm just gonna cover this up and act like and I'm sure the girl right in front of me was like, why is she trying to put more water in the boat? That's not how boats work.
You're like, I'd rather you think I'm bad
Could
at
you
boats.
stop? Yeah, I was just like, like handfuls of water in the boat. I'm like, row! Just like, in my lap. I don't know. Anyway, okay, this is where it all goes wrong. So basically, then we finally row back to the shore. Our coach is like, all right, come back in. And when you're in crew, there's like an order of things where you get out of the boat a certain way, and then everyone like leans over on the dock once you're out of the boat to pick it up by like the riggers where your seat is. And then it's like an order of commands where it's like up to hips.
How much longer is this after you peed?
That's a great question. It probably was like an annoyingly short amount of time. Like I held on until I couldn't, and then they were like, all right, bring it back in. And I'm like, great.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I peed, they were like, and
They're like, someone peed.
Someone peed.
Get out,
Get
yeah.
out of
hey,
here.
we clearly have to leave.
Yeah.
Someone pissed the boat.
Someone call Kelly's mom.
Yeah.
She needs to go home. She's scared. So basically, this is the thing where I'm like, okay, whatever. I've splashed so much water into this that this is my plan. We're going to do whatever the commands were that were like up to shoulder or up to hips, up to shoulders, and then you would roll the boat over top of your head.
Kelly's pee is just gonna pour on everyone.
Well, no, here's the thing. I was like, you are in charge of your own seat. So I'm going to be the last one to be like, overhead, I'm going to step out of the way because I know. And it's going to be fine.
So you've got a plan.
You were
Instead,
prepared.
I knew. I was like, I gamed this out. At the very last minute, Coach. I should not be saying his real name. I'm like actually like nervous about this.
Coach
And
doesn't know.
He does not know this. Absolutely not.
Oh.
He, at the last minute, went, I got that, Kel, and grabs my thing and goes over it, and just, and they lift it up over, and it goes all over him, and he literally goes, whoa, a lot of water in there today. And it just walks, like, they all walk into the boathouse, and I just was like,
Wait, did you tell anyone?
like, not for so long.
Yeah.
That is
To this day,
you
I
got
think I've,
away
like,
with it.
yeah.
That's
Until
amazing.
this podcast gets somehow back to Coach M.
Wow,
That's my story of how
Honestly,
I peed on my coach.
I'm just impressed with you.
That
for
sounds worse.
story
Yeah, not even.
because you executed that beautifully.
Yeah. And it sounds like you added enough water in the boat
to get
to
away
dilute.
with it.
Yeah.
I still think
You know?
about that though. I'm like,
You think
He
later
had to
when
know,
I tried,
right?
He was like, no, you wouldn't have to know. I don't think
Yeah, I
you
don't
have to
think
know.
you would know.
Unless
You don't think it would be
unless
like,
you
this
were
doesn't
dehydrated.
smell
Unless you were
like
dehydrated
water.
and
You'd just
hadn't
be like,
had
this is like
your elements,
gross.
then you wouldn't even know.
okay, maybe I got away with it.
I think you got away with it.
Well, that's my embarrassing story.
Wow.
That's
so
impressive.
world, you know Kelly at her finest.
Bladder and all.
Bladder and all.
Tiny little bladder.
Okay, time for story number 2.
Paper, scissors, shoot. I'm
Holly
so
with the
good.
pillar.
Scissors,
I
pen.
and I went like this.
Emma wins a
paper.
scissor paper.
Well, this was actually.
It was definitely a paper.
This was actually.
She's trying
Cliff.
to defend.
This is Cliff.
What does Cliff mean?
It's
It's a
Emma
male
does
person.
not like Cliff.
okay. Cheating. So, my name is Emma Hern, and this is my embarrassing story.
We're ready.
Maybe 2016, maybe 2017. This was the time when people would just come over to our house
All the
Yeah.
as
time.
if it was their own house.
Yeah.
And I was nannying, I was trying to get my music career going, and there was like, it was like one of those times when you should choose to sleep, work, and social.
You remember that because that's what they told us at St. Michael's.
Really?
That's what they told us
That's
at St. Michael's.
brainwashing.
I know.
Wait.
Well, I chose
Our middle
all
school-
I've
three.
never heard of
They
this.
said,
Yeah, it's
like,
like
you
for a
can
healthy
either, like,
lifestyle.
Have like sports, social life, like rest, academics, and it was like, yeah,
choose
pick three.
3.
Yeah.
And then I've heard the same thing, like just in general in life, like
Don't try and
work,
do it all.
sleep, or social. You can't do 3 all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do 3 all at the same time. And
Uh-oh.
was sick all the time because I was nannying, which I'm not nannying, and
Yeah.
what's changed? You
We're
know?
still Emma.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And that night, this was in the days of Tinder.
Nice. Nice. Oh.
This is my one and only Tinder story. Okay,
Dun dun.
set the scene. I'd been nannying all day. Wasn't great. And you'll hear more about your decision if you want to have kids or not have kids in an upcoming episode on how the wise one grows. And so I was also like dealing with, I think I was on the tail end of like having some type of like strep throat thing because I was given cough syrup, medicated cough syrup from my doctor. Don't do a spit take. Don't do it. I was just following instructions. I was given medicated cough syrup. I think I was still on that. And I came back to my house, and some of our friends, I want to say like Zach and those people, Kelly, all those people were at the house. And I was like, I'm supposed to meet this person at Dina's. It's my first Tinder date tonight, but I just don't feel good, and I'm really tired because I'm sick. And I think Zach was the one who was like, you never, like, you're always with all of us. Like, you're the guys, you're with the band. You're never going to meet anyone. You're going to die alone.
Great.
So the supportive friends that we are like, go anyway.
Yes.
Go anyway.
Yeah.
Go on cough syrup.
Yeah.
Go on cough syrup.
And so, not even thinking, no one here knows that I'm on cough syrup. And I'm like, I'm just going to take my medicine before I go. I'm going to take my medicine before I go. I'm going to drive. I'm going to have 1 beer. I'm going to have an okay time, come home early. All is good.
Say I did it.
Yeah. So that was the plan. I get ready. I'm like, I don't want to do this. And take my cough syrup and go on my date. And when I get there, it's Dino's, which is the bar. This was where
The place to be.
me, Kelly, and Holly spent way too much time.
So much.
So much time. And this was in the heyday when they also would have jazz night. So
That's
great start to a
yeah.
night. And it's just a dive bar, and they just have people in the corner playing jazz.
Love.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yes. Easter egg, one of the guys playing jazz was the guy I would date later.
Easter egg.
Yeah.
Thank you
Ooh.
for that.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Old man Sam.
Oh!
Yes,
Oh,
man,
didn't
Old
know.
man Sam.
Old man
Yeah.
Sam.
So I meet this guy. It's like, there are pictures on Tinder, but he's like, insert band boy in Nashville. So I'm
Okay.
like, I kind of know what he looks like. And this is
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
a good place because safety. This will be a good place to meet because I guarantee there are 5 people I will already know that
Yeah.
are at this bar too.
Mhm.
Plus everybody else knows where I am. So go in there. He's at the bar. He comes up. He's really very nice, very long hair. Some would say too long.
Okay.
Would you say
And
too
she's
long?
bringing her hands like to her waist.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
too long.
hips
I
and
was
down.
like, okay, very cute.
Mhm.
Can see that this is your thing.
Mhm.
You
You
know,
like
you
your
identify
hair.
Rapunzel,
long hair.
Rapunzel.
Yes,
Okay.
that's your vibe. You're
will
like
climb
that's
up.
your. Yeah.
Climb on up.
We'll find out.
Part 2. How the wise one goes.
So he comes up. He's very sweet, and he's just like, to be honest, I'm pretty nervous. I told the bartender I was here for like a date, a Tinder date, and that I'm pretty nervous. So him and I took one shot. The bartender was trying to like
Amp you.
put me up, and I was like, "That's cute." And then
Really say it like that?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh."
The cough syrup was already starting to
Yeah.
That's cute!
Yeah, and I would just like to say, this medicated cough syrup, I genuinely did not know that you should not.
I have never
drink.
had medicated cough syrup.
Me neither.
So in my head, I was like, oh, it's something you take to just suppress a cough, right?
Uh-huh.
like a throat soother kind of
Yes.
thing.
If you've heard of leaning, it's when you mix cough syrup, scissor, with alcohol so that you kind of get near hallucination.
So you scissor.
Yes, I was leaning by the end of the night.
Leaning. I've never heard.
Yes. Yeah.
She was leaning.
I love the idea that Emma's the one to teach us about like
Yeah,
drug
yeah,
use.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of lean?
So I get there. We're actually having a great date. I would like. Well, I'm high. So I was like, I'm having
a great
will say
time.
I remember this fondly. I
Uh-huh.
had a great time. I was like, he is very kind. He's a musician.
The colors are more vivid than I've ever seen.
I love jazz.
I love jazz. Jazz hands.
This
Emma
was-
just did jazz hands.
Yeah.
This was also the era when I was trying to like be a tough rock and roll girl, and so I ordered
Like that?
I ordered whiskey neat
Nice.
or whiskey with on ice.
So this is
As
the part
my
of the
drink.
story where you make Mike proud.
Yes,
But this is also after
I
you
do
went.
this for my father. Okay.
So actually, Mike, you do have to listen to this.
Sponsored by Jack Daniels.
I like that this started out with you being like, I'm gonna have one beer. So naturally
Yeah.
I get whiskey neat.
Yes. Because I'm a cool girl. And that's what I do. I'm not like the other girls.
Not like the other girls. Different. I'm built different.
Hi.
Leaning.
Leaning. So anyway, I know, don't do it, kids.
This is sponsored by Dare. Just say no.
So this was a bad decision. And then I am now high. I remember the date fondly.
Mm-hmm.
I suddenly realized this one drink has hit me like a brick wall
Mhm.
because it's been mixed with my medicated cough syrup.
Uh-huh.
I look at him. We've had a good time. We're like hanging out. I had one drink. We had
Uh-huh.
French fries. We're having a good time. And
Uh-huh.
I say, I can't drive home. And he's like, oh. I was like, will you drive me home? Also, probably not a good idea, but you just kind of sense it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just up the street. He hasn't been drinking a lot.
Mhm.
Will you drive me home? And he goes,
She's trying so hard to
I
I
know.
know. Like, okay, so I did
So
start
hard.
this out by saying he had a shot.
Yeah.
His hair is so long that he can't
To be
responsibly
clear, we
drive.
are not advising
I
this.
was young. You have to learn from your mistakes,
Kids, don't
okay?
listen to Aunt Emma.
Don't listen to Emma.
Oh,
She was
I-
leaning.
I was leaning. Okay, anyway, I don't know how I said this, but it was like, can we get out of here? Can you drive me? And he was like, oh, you want to go
Will you
back to
take me
my
home?
place? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I do not. You
Her
can
house.
drive me home
To my home.
to my home where I live, which is a short few blocks away.
And then you will depart.
And then you leave, sir.
I have a house full of friends.
Your hair is far too long. It's full of secrets. And so he is a gentleman. He drives me home. And I got in the car a little bit. And then I decide to abruptly stop making out with him because I'm also, my tummy is feeling a little weird. Okay? A little weird. And so then I open up the door. I'm like, okay, this is fun. Bye. Open up the door, jump out, and I close the door, and I'm walking up to my house, and he rolls down the window, and he's like, am I ever going to see you again? That was so fun. And I say, probably not. And then I go inside because I'm on drugs.
I thought you were going to say probably not, and I projectile.
No,
Yeah,
that's coming.
Oh,
Spoil it.
yeah. I was like,
Okay.
what happened with your weird feeling tummy?
And so I quietly open the door because I think
Quietly, but you're on
I'm on drugs.
scissor.
Okay, well, Kelly was there, I think, so Kelly can do the follow-up
Falls
story.
through the door.
I'm quietly opening the door, and I quietly shut it behind me, and I turn around, and all of our friends are still there because they haven't gone home, and they're like, well.
If it isn't Lil John Hern.
It becomes very apparent that I am hammered off of this one drink. I left my car at the bar, and I don't know.
Defending yourself.
I don't
Do not
know.
drink and drive.
I don't know. I go in and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to keep it under control. It's not going well. She's not in control. I remember asking someone, maybe Kelly, I was like, I need a peanut butter sandwich. I need a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
Who's gonna make it for me?
Because little princess can't make herself. This is what I had to deal with back in the day.
I tried. Fast forward, I don't know what happened from the time where I asked for a peanut butter sandwich to
No one made it for you.
No
is what
one
happened.
did.
So
I
you
tried.
had to be left to your own resources.
and I put my hands in the peanut butter container and I start to finger paint is the only way to describe this on our table.
Yeah.
She's trying to remember.
Question mark?
She's like, I'm having flashbacks.
Smearing the peanut butter, not eating it. No one's helping me.
Whoa.
You did
You
try to
sound
help
like
me,
you were
actually.
having fun.
I have my
You
own
did,
version of
okay.
this story to tell after this.
Oh, great.
To clarify.
And then at some point, the peanut butter is no longer on my hands. I go into my room because I think Kelly's like, let's get you a glass of water and put your PJs on because you were the only one defending me
That's right.
in my time of need.
Do you
And
hear
then
how she
somewhere
switches from
she's-
Yeah.
Kelly wasn't helping me.
Because it's coming back to me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then I remember, I think I don't fully get in my pajamas. Oh, you're like, why don't you put your pajamas on? I'm going to go get you a glass of water, is how I remember this.
Yes.
I'm partially pajamaed,
Mm-hmm.
and Kelly goes to get me a glass of water. I am now partially pajamaed and in my bed, and I think you think that I've just fallen asleep. Which I have at this point. But I
Yeah.
also threw up all over the floor.
Nice.
Before that?
Yes.
Nice.
How did I
Remember
miss
that?
that?
Because I have this
No.
special thing where if I'm going to throw up, I have to lay flat or else I will pass out. So I knew that. And I laid flat on the bed and just said, this is fine. This'll do. Blech.
We need to clarify flat, not on your back. Flat
Not
on
my
your
back,
side.
on my side.
Or,
On
okay.
my side. Flat on my
Like,
side.
don't.
Kelly's
And I
like,
said-
no.
I'm like, I would not
And
have
I
left
said,
you.
the floor is fine here. And I know that I didn't put on my Dino's shirt because I'm a Dino's girly through and through.
Yeah.
Because my shirt was also on the floor, and if you've had a Dino shirt, you've thrown up on it at least once.
I puked tikka masala on mine.
Yeah.
I never have.
There's still time.
Oh, we'll get that.
We'll get there.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
hopefully.
guys.
Yeah.
And then I have passed out at this point, just probably 30 minutes post coming in the front door. gone to sleep now because I have to nanny at 7 a.m. the next morning. And I wake up the next morning running late for work, go over next door to where I'm nannying, and the mom opens the door and says, "Hi, like, are you feeling okay today?" And I was like, "Yeah, just a little under the weather," because I am so incredibly hungover at this point. And it's then like during nap time when I look and I have a string of text messages from this guy that's just like, "Wow, what a great night. Hope you got home safe. How did you feel how this went? I just didn't expect to connect with someone on such a deep spiritual level." And it just went on and on and on and on.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "Sir, I went on a Tinder date with you and I had
Was
scissors."
leaning.
Yeah. And
You
so,
connected with my shadow self.
Yeah,
I was not there.
I was not
So
there.
maybe that is your soulmate.
I don't think
Maybe.
so.
I'm fully Team
I
Holly on
wanna know
this.
And
what's
he
in the
would
hair.
continually, I was just like, nah. I was like, blast that out. No.
Yeah.
Is he still around? Is he still in Nashville?
Who's to say? He would he would be on tour a bunch.
We're gonna
come-
parent trap
He
Emma
would,
and
come
this
back,
random
yeah,
guy.
he would come back into town whenever he was in town. He's like, "I'm in town for 3 days on tour. I would love to take you out for dinner." And I'd be like, "Nah."
Did you ever see him again?
No.
Emma!
Except for once when he was also playing guitar at a show that I was playing, but he was like last at the High Watt, and I was just like, "I don't know who you." And
That's
that
your soulmate.
is not my soulmate. So that's my story.
Wow.
And that was my one and only Tinder date.
Here's how I remember
Oh,
the last
hear
part of
this.
it. I remember getting you at least partially into PJs, being like, "I will get water." All of that is true. I don't remember anything with peanut butter until the next day. I don't think this is why I think it's possible.
for a little.
Here's what I think.
Up in the middle of the night.
What I think probably happened is that
Oh my God.
you got home, you were trying to play it cool. We were like, well, it is an Emma
Look who the cat
Tinder date,
dragged in.
Hern. And then you were probably like, and I was like, all right, let's get you in bed. I got you water, you puke, whatever. I think you fall asleep. And then later, when I was already asleep, then you get up and start finger painting. Because the next morning,
no one is helping
No
her.
one.
oh my gosh, she was hallucinating us all in the kitchen. No one was in the kitchen. I wish we had like you know those night vision cameras that are just
Walking
Emma like
around.
drunkenly
Painting.
like you know in Ratatouille when
This will
he's
be my
controlling her.
masterpiece.
That's hilarious.
I remember the next morning being like, why is there peanut butter all over every surface?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'd like to formally apologize for my peanut butter eating. My peanut butter escapades, if you will.
The escapades. Wow. Okay. So your embarrassing story,
But-
you also like still managed to have someone completely fall in love with you
Yeah.
and
That's very, very Emma.
A version of myself.
A version.
Who knows?
that is one
A
version.
version that
Yes.
we love.
Yeah.
We
Aw,
love so
thanks.
deeply.
Thanks. And I will say, did she learn? No, because then maybe this was another time I was on cough syrup, and I think I told this story, and Joel was in town. He was like, "You should get your cough syrup. I'll make a cocktail with cough syrup." And we did that, and it didn't taste good,
cocktail.
so we didn't.
Oh,
drink
so
it.
you did that for fun.
Just one other time.
This is not sponsored by
In a
Dare.
controlled environment at home.
Where it's
Dare,
safe to
drugs,
experiment
just
with
try
drugs.
them.
Dare. Do
Attempt.
responsible
responsible
experience.
Experience. Do
Nice,
attempt
guys.
responsible experiences.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
It's all about
Dare.
human beings.
We just reclaimed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, you should totally join the Dream Team. The Dream Team is an amazing group of listeners who support this podcast and make it possible every month. And you can join for as little as $3 a month. You'll support the podcast, you'll get a special handwritten postcard from yours truly, and a shout out in an upcoming episode. And if you aren't able to financially support at this time, it would mean the world to me if you would consider following this podcast on your favorite streaming platform, leaving a review. They make a world of difference, and sharing an episode you love with a friend so that we can continue to learn and grow together.
Okay. You know what time it is.
So
Yeah.
I'm in college.
Currently?
It's rough.
Currently.
wish. No, I don't.
I was like,
hated
wish?
college. I had the worst time in college.
Yeah,
I went
she
to
hated
UVA, did not have many friends.
Really?
Well,
I
I
didn't
have
know
some
that.
great friends. UVA is not a great place. But yeah, so I'm in college at UVA. Think this is like second semester. I was still hating it.
Yeah.
That never really changed.
Yeah.
But we all went to this Mediterranean restaurant that I really love.
Okay.
Like, was so excited to go there. We got this like amazing food, amazing fish, like loving it.
Mhm.
And we're taking the buses back
Mhm.
to our suite.
Yeah.
And I'm on the bus and my stomach starts to feel bad.
I hate
no.
this.
It starts to feel bad. I'm on the bus with like everyone I live with.
Oh, no.
And no. And
There's
I'm
no
like,
escape.
yeah, no escape. And I'm increasingly like,
Mm-mm.
oh, like I'm losing the battle. I know I'm losing the battle. Like
you had the
I still think I have like some time to save it,
Oh no.
but I'm like I will not make it all the way to our dorm into the bathroom,
Oh
and
my
I know
God.
this for certain.
I'm so scared.
And-
right now.
I'm deeply upset.
Oh yeah. And I come up with a great plan. I'm like, oh, one of my roommates is doing this dance thing at the stadium. It's in like an hour or two, but like I'm gonna get off now to check on her. I tell them, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna check on Priya.
Yeah.
Like, gotta go. Bye. And I like successfully get off the bus. Yes.
Thank
And I'm like,
God.
I see the building
Oh no!
in front of me. I'm in the middle. So most of my embarrassing stories happen at a sports stadium.
Yeah, you and
UVA.
sports do not.
So I'm in the like football stadium parking lot. I see the student activities building that I'm walking to. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And then I'm like, oh, you can't do it.
It's
And I
happening.
just shit my pants.
Oh,
like-
you bridesmaids.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bridesmaids all
Shit
in my
in the street.
jeans, like
In the
in the jeans,
Oh no.
and
Oh no. Is this what time of is this night?
is dark.
Okay,
it's night.
it's dark.
Okay.
It's winter. It's like 6, 7, maybe
Yeah.
8. Like it's dark.
Do you have a coat on too?
No, not a long one.
Oh.
But like the thing is, I live in a suite full of people.
Yeah.
And there's no like laundry. I'm like, I'm just like crying. I call my then boyfriend, and like Parker was so sweet and was like, people were walking by, and I'm just like hysterical, like they're gonna know. And he was like, no, they'll just think like some guy farted. And I'm like, no, this is what do I do? I call my parents who are an hour away, and I'm like, you have to come pick me up.
Yes.
I will not go back to my
Yeah.
dorm like this. And they're like,
no.
we can't do that. Like, your sister's there. No, she wasn't. She was in Richmond, stealth staying with
How
her
could you
boyfriend.
leave her like that,
This
Luna?
story.
How
Luna
could
has
they
my
leave her
back.
like that?
So I am like freaking out, and then I call my sister's roommate, and I'm like, Victoria, here's what happened.
You gotta do
You have
something.
to pick me up. She picks me up in the parking lot as I've just been crying there for like 30
Yeah.
minutes with poop in my pants, and she pulls up, and I just lay flat on my stomach in the backseat of her car
So that you don't
so that I don't yep.
Oh no!
And then I get to their apartment, and she just gives me a trash bag, and I like go into the bathroom and just
Get
like
rid of the evidence.
get rid of everything, shower,
Throw
stay at my
everything
sister's
in.
house. All my roommates and people are like,
Where
where are you? Are you okay? Like, and yeah.
Oh, honey.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's rough.
It was rough.
Was it
That
the
is
fish?
rough.
What was the culprit?
Maybe? I don't think
Sure.
anyone else got sick.
This podcast is not sponsored by that Mediterranean
It's
restaurant.
not.
It's
I
not
love the
sponsored
place
by
though.
fish.
Not sponsored by fish.
Absolutely not.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough.
I got more of them.
In my head, she put down cardboard.
No.
That's how I felt the story went. Like she
I
was on
love the
cardboard.
idea that
Maybe
you
she also-
planked in the
Oh, I
back
just
seat.
planked
You're
in
like,
the backseat and was like,
also, how
Thanks,
close
Vic.
were you with Vic? Like, is this
pretty close. Like,
Okay.
we were pretty close.
She was like, I will come to you in your time of need.
yeah,
Close.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I felt really close with her.
Oh, that's
Obviously, I would have rather not had her be
Yeah.
the one in that
Oh,
scenario.
Yeah.
That
But
is-
it was my best option, and
Oh.
I'm forever grateful.
Wow.
But can you imagine if I had to go back to that dorm
no.
full of people that I live with?
With shit pants?
Yeah, having shit in my pants.
And you'd be shit pants girl.
Yeah, forever.
Wow.
But if you give them some space and
That's
then
awful.
tell them you're shit pants girl,
Then it's funny.
Then it's funny.
Then it's funny, and then it's happens to all of us.
character
It's
building.
character then, but they have to love you enough first.
Oh,
Wow.
that's the worst. Not to take anything
And that was
away
not the
from
last
any of
time
us.
No, that
that
wasn't
you
the-
shat your pants.
No, it wasn't.
Well, I would say yes.
Definitive.
I would say no.
I didn't shit my pants.
Shorts.
I took them off.
Oh, I have so many. Oh my god. This like slow ping pong game of trying to figure out.
I can't reveal all of
My
my
secrets.
secrets
At
in one
once.
episode. I have to keep you coming back for more. Bowel issues run in the family.
Hey,
Yeah.
It's real.
Everyone has
hot
them.
girl with tummy issues.
Yeah.
IBS.
Yeah.
Filet.
So now we are all really close and comfortable with each other. And I feel like,
And so are you.
and so are you.
All the listener.
Yeah,
Hi,
no,
listener.
I hope you feel like you really know Kelly and Emma. I hope you laughed. I hope you don't judge us too much. And I want to hear your embarrassing stories.
Can they write in?
I think anyone who wants to share
Oh
their
my
most
gosh.
embarrassing
Shit your
stories,
pants. Shit your
I've got
pants.
more. If you think yours isn't like
How about
too
this?
much, we will. Every story you send in, we'll share another.
Yes. We'll raise you an
Yeah.
embarrassing story.
So, if you want these embarrassing stories to keep going, you can submit your embarrassing story. You can leave it anonymous. You can say your name. You decide by going to howthewiseonegrows.com. There's a link in the show notes, and click the microphone in the bottom right-hand corner. From there, you can leave a voicemail for us of your most embarrassing story, and I'll keep my word. For every embarrassing story we receive, we will give you one embarrassing story of ours.
I don't think yours is. You got drunk. You made a man fall in love with you.
Yeah, it's just
You made a
not
sandwich for
embarrassing.
yourself. And then you were drunk at home.
I never once made a sandwich for myself. I'd like the record to
The
She
reflect.
thing
made a
is-
masterpiece.
She made a masterpiece, and Holly and I get the privilege of knowing that there is, in fact, a little more to the story that does make it a funny, embarrassing
Yeah.
story, but the listeners don't know that.
Mhm.
All right, Emma, Kelly, any final words for the listeners? What do you want them to know about you beside your embarrassing story?
I have better bladder control now. Do I? No. But I don't row anymore, so that will never happen to me again.
That I feel like your embarrassing stories make you stronger.
They define you.
Or what you do with them. Or if you don't ever tell anyone them. That's okay too.
You are,
That's telling.
yeah. You're more than
I
just
feel
your
like she's
embarrassing
withholding.
stories.
Yeah, you're more than your
I've
big. And
been thinking about my
everyone,
IBS since
everybody
early
poops
age.
their pants. Some more
Literally.
than others.
Once a quarter.
but-
Once a quarter if you're a good businesswoman.
If you're a good businesswoman, shit your pants once a quarter.
Keeps you honest.
Welcome back to How the Wise One Grows. Emma Hern's gonna tell a story now.
Yeah. Okay. So we all know we all know that I've had stomach issues from a young age.
Yes.
Okay? Tummy problems, if you will.
Hot girl IBS.
Hot girl IBS, as it is diagnosed in college. And at this point in my life, I was like regaining like proper
Use.
use of my intestines, I would say. Like I was at the point where I was like,
Was
oh,
this in college?
no. This was early Nashville.
Okay.
Like my stomach was starting to get better.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm either like not shitting or I have to shit in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, there was not a lot of wiggle room between that. And so I don't even know who I was with. I was with someone. I blocked this out. I kind of forgot I did this. Like that's
Was this
how
after I moved?
Yes, you were
Okay.
no longer there. You were there. You
Okay,
weren't there,
and I
though.
don't know about it.
No, you don't know about it. No one knows about this. No,
Is this
literally no one
really,
knows.
you've never told this story before?
I've only told one person because
It happened to them.
it happened to them in the same place. And they said this to me, and I fell down laughing so hard because I was like, what are the chances?
Are you going to reveal who the
No.
other person is?
Beep. That's
kind
going
of
to
cute.
my grave. I will never.
Okay,
I will never
that's
reveal this.
fine.
And so I am at beep coffee shop.
Oh.
And I am having some coffee and maybe a treat or two. And I'm like, ooh, I have to go to the bathroom. I really have to go to the bathroom. And I was still at the stage where I was like, I would try to drive home if I could.
Yeah. Public is not the
And
way.
because this specific coffee shop, their like lock didn't always work. Yes. And and that's normal.
In
and
the
that's
bathroom?
fine. In the bathroom.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
made
you
it in the
did.
toilet.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's not a problem in the story yet.
Yet. Being the operative word.
And then I flush the toilet, and the toilet doesn't work. And it's not like it's clogged. It's just not working. And I remember but this is kind of a finicky. They have 2 bathrooms.
Yep.
And this is like the one that's more finicky. And it's busy time. And there are people line up outside of that bathroom in the corridor. And I am like, I'll die before I walk out of here with a shit-filled toilet.
Yeah.
So naturally, I have to dispose of the evidence.
No. Whatever you're about to say is going to be so much worse than just leaving it shitty.
I don't know why. My brain was like, you have to get rid of the bottle.
That's hilarious.
I don't know why.
You could have pretended it was
I
someone
could've-
else's.
That's when you just walk out and go, oh my god, the guy who wasn't here before really left a mess. I would
I
not go in
don't
here.
know. I don't know what happened. Something malfunctioned in my brain, and I was like, this is your only option. Look at yourself in the mirror. You'll never look at yourself the same way.
Buck up, Hern. It's time to scoop the poop.
And I look
What'd you
around.
do?
I look around to see what I can use and where I can dispose of it.
And? What'd you come
Yeah,
up
what'd
with?
you
I'm so
decide? What'd you
scared right
choose?
now.
Say not just
decided-
napkins.
No.
The sink, bare
No.
hands.
It had to
I
be.
just-
You ate it. Sorry. Also, okay.
I look around and I decide I'm going to use the plunger. Because first I'm using the
It could
plunger.
be like Scoopy. I
Mhm.
see what you're saying.
Oh,
a
like
stop-
you use the
Yeah, first I try to use the plunger. So I'm like, maybe it's clogged.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be okay.
Yeah.
Emma
doesn't
crying
work.
to herself, maybe it'll be okay.
Someone's knocked on the door at this point.
Yeah, of course.
So now there's a clock. There's a clock.
Yeah. The countdown is on.
It's too. I can't do option A, Kelly, because I've been in here.
Yeah.
I can't just be like,
Okay.
somebody
Hey, I've
else
been
went.
hanging out in here with this toilet full of someone
Mhm.
else's shit.
And so I use the plunger and I scoop it out of the toilet.
That had to be so hard to do.
It was
Yeah.
so hard. I didn't get it all, but enough. I was like, this is better. And I put it in the trash can. And I close the trash can. And I sit the plunger down. And I walk out of there. And I don't come back for a year and a half.
Oh my god.
And my friend had already paid. And I was like, great, good, let's go.
You were there
Time to
with
go.
someone?
I was like, we gotta go. Yeah, good, you already paid? Great. Okay, I'll been with you. Let's go. Yep, time to go. Bye. And I left and I didn't come back for at least a year. And I thought to myself, you've worked at restaurants. What if you were the person?
You're the person who has to take the trash out.
And that's when, years later, I found out that I have a friend who did the exact
That is
same
hilarious.
thing. So I'm like, are they used to that? Is that something that
That
people
happens
do?
there.
Oh.
Specifically
They
there
need to
in the
fix
twilight
that
zone where
toilet.
you don't think you can just
Yeah.
walk out?
Scoop the poop once, shame on you. You know what I mean? That toilet should have been fixed. If that's the second or more time that someone has had to
I appreciate
manually
you.
remove their shit.
It was in a bag in the toilet. Does that help? Not the
In the
toilet,
trash
in the
can.
trash.
No,
in
it
the trash.
helps.
I kind of wish it would like they had like a little wicker waste basket instead, you know?
She wouldn't have done it.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done. I looked around. When it first happened, I looked around to see if there was a window.
No.
To crawl out.
Oh, I was like to throw it out of like the old days.
That's what I was saying.
No, I would have crawled out the window. If there wasn't a working window, I would have left that way.
Or you just
There-
wait out the person who's
There would have
talking.
been there's a line.
But there are 2 bathrooms. That's why you just stay there until they're like, "Ma'am, we're closing. What's happening?"
I didn't have an option. That is my most embarrassing story, and I have never told anyone.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Thank you for holding.
That was good.
I want to share a special review with you all. So this review says deep and fun. I highly recommend this podcast for deep, thoughtful dives, along with lots of compassion and fun. Holly's insights and healing voice are a balm for the soul. You'll be fed and nourished while learning and growing with this podcast. Holly speaks from wholeness. Everything is welcome and everything is a part of the experience. Thank you, Holly, for this gift of this podcast. And thank you, listener, for leaving this amazing review, for listening to this podcast, and allowing me to share this offering. And one more thing, we now have a free intentional living community on Discord where you can come together with fellow listeners to reflect on the conversations we've had on the podcast. We not only talk about the podcast, but really all the things that support us in living with intention. There's also a link in the show notes to join this free community, and I would be honored to have you there. And the first 15 people to join will enter to win a coaching call with me.